Welcome back to Ruthless Metal, and in today's video we're going to explore the origins of heavy metal, who invented the genre and what led up to it being formed. But before we get into today's topic, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out on future metal videos here on the channel. And as always, we're going to kick this video off with the definition of heavy metal. And this is what Wikipedia has to say about it. Heavy metal, or simply metal, is a genre of rock music that developed in the late 1960s and early 1970s, largely in the United Kingdom and the United States. With roots in blues rock, psychedelic rock and acid rock, heavy metal bands developed a thick, massive sound, characterized by distortion, extended guitar solos, emphatic beats and loudness. The lyrics and performances are sometimes associated with aggression and machismo. So let's start in the 60s, and in the mid-60s the British invasion had hit the United States, and bands like the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the Animals, the Yardbirds, the Who and the Kinks and similar became a cultural phenomenon. But we're not going to go too deep into the British invasion in this video, but I think that a song like You Really Got Me by the Kinks was one of the first songs that featured distorted power chords. Fast forward to 1967, and now we started to see the first examples of hard rock with bands like Cream, Jimi Hendrix and Vanilla Fudge.
I'll be with you when the stars start falling. I've been waiting so long to be where I'm going, in the sunshine of your love.
And in 1968 the three giants of hard rock was formed, and that was of course Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath. But only Deep Purple released an album this year. And in 1968 Steppenwolf released the song Born to be Wild, and that was the first time that the term heavy metal was used. So let's listen to some of the heaviest songs of 1968.
I like smoking lightning, heavy metal thunder, racing with the wind, and the feeling that I'm under. Yeah, darling, go make it happen. Take the world in a loving embrace. Fire all of your guns at once and explode into space like a true nature's child. We were born to be wild. We can climb so high. I never wanna die. Don't you know that I'm loving you in a garden of Vita, baby? Don't you know that I'll always be true?
Sometimes I wonder what I'm gonna do. Lord, there ain't no cure for the summertime blues. Well, my mama, papa told me, son, you got to make some money. Well, if you wanna use a car to go right next Sunday. But Lord, I didn't go to work. I told the boss I was sick. Sometimes I wonder what I'm gonna do. Lord, there ain't no cure for the summertime blues.
Hush, hush, I thought I heard her calling my name now. Hush, hush, she broke my heart, but I love her just the same now. Hush, hush, I thought I heard her calling my name now. Hush, hush, I need her loving and I'm not to blame now. You got her early in the morning, you got her late in the evening. Oh, well, I want and need it, oh, I gotta have it. I am the god of hellfire, and I bring you fire. I'll take you to burn. Fire. I'll take you to learn. I'll see you burn. You fought hard and you saved and earned, but all of it's gone to burn. And your mind, you turn it right, you know you've really been so blind. Now's your time to burn.
And in 1969, Led Zeppelin released their self-titled debut album.
Well, I feel pretty good, and I guess that I couldn't get crazy now, baby. 'Cause we all got it doing, and when the dressing room got hazy now, baby. I know how you want it, darling, with that tight. The girls can't stand it when you're doing it right. Let me up on the stand, and let them kick out the jam. Yes, kick out the jam.
And in the first year of the 70s, Black Sabbath released not one but two albums, the self-titled Black Sabbath album and Paranoid. And these two records were of course groundbreaking in so many ways. And Deep Purple also stepped things up and released the classic Deep Purple in Rock album. So let's listen to some of the heaviest stuff from 1970. And in the first half of the 70s, more and more bands started to play this type of heavy rock. And I'm thinking of bands like Nazareth, Blue Oyster Cult, UFO, King Crimson, Dust, November, Wishbone Ash, Alice Cooper, Flower Traveling Band, Coven, Buffalo, Night Sun, Budgie, Jerusalem and Uriah Heep, to mention a few. But let's fast forward to the mid to late 70s, and in this period hard rock evolved and morphed into something new. And we saw different characteristics and traits of heavy metal started to take form. And here are some examples of the evolution of hard rock and heavy metal during the second half of the 70s. Let's take Kiss for example. They took the live experience to the next level with fire and explosions, and those outlandish costumes and of course the black and white face paint. They really understood that the image and the live experience was very important. And then we had the shock rocker Alice Cooper, who also understood this, and his horror influenced live shows were also highly influential. And Rainbow with Ritchie Blackmore and Ronnie James Dio in the lineup were also highly influential during this period, with their fantasy-inspired lyrics that influenced several power metal bands of the 80s. And we also had Motorhead that brought in a certain rawness to metal, and they also upped the speed, and they were a main influence for a lot of thrash, black and speed metal bands. And during this period, Eddie Van Halen's guitar play also revolutionized hard rock and heavy metal. And Scorpions, Thin Lizzy and AC/DC were also getting more popular by the day. But the most important band during this era was, in my opinion, Judas Priest. And they really gave heavy metal the look that we're so familiar with these days. The leather jackets, the wristbands and the studded belts and all of that. And this look became more or less the standard heavy metal uniform in the 80s, which can be seen in many new wave of British heavy metal bands like Maiden, Saxon and Venom and similar bands. And it was in around 1978 when Judas Priest wanted another look that fit the music that they played. And that really revolutionized everything. So who invented this genre that we all love so much then? Well, I would say that even though Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin had albums out before Black Sabbath, I think that Black Sabbath brought something new and unique to the sound of hard rock. They set a new standard in heaviness and just how scary their music was. But for me, bands like Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin were hard rock bands, more so than heavy metal. And I think that Judas Priest was really the first band that shaped hard rock into heavy metal. With the twin guitars, the more metallic production values, with albums like Sad Rings of Destiny, Sin After Sin, Stained Class, Hellbent for Leather or Killing Machine as it was known as. And those albums sounded and looked very different from Judas Priest's debut album Rockarola for example. They looked and sounded more like a hippie band with hard rock aspirations on that debut album. And they also peeled away the bluesy sound from bands like Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple. And thus Judas Priest created heavy metal. So for me, those early and also classic Black Sabbath albums of the 70s are more in the hard rock genre. So I would say that Black Sabbath created hard rock and Judas Priest created heavy metal. I mean, I don't think anyone in their right mind would call Cream or the Yardbirds metal bands. For me, they still have their base in rock. It might be a harder version of rock, but it's still rock to me. And sure, Black Sabbath took it even further, but they don't have the metallic elements of bands like Iron Maiden or Saxon for example. So let me know your thoughts on this down in the comment section below. Do you see hard rock and heavy metal as just one entity? Or do you agree with me that they are separate? And let me know who you guys think was the first band to play heavy metal. And if you want to vote on this, then you can join my Discord group, it's linked down below. And you can also find my Facebook page and my Spotify links down there. And don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you won't miss out on future uploads here on the Ruthless Metal channel. And that's all, so thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye bye.